From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, more than 10 years after alleged sex abuse by a Delta Junction couple, one defendant is due for trial in February and the other was sentenced this morning.
We have more now in this report.
As part of a plea deal with the state of Alaska, Diane Jensen, accused of the decade-old sex abuse of her niece with husband Daniel Jensen.
She may have lived with that secret for a whole lot longer because she hadn't told anyone. She hadn't told her parents, she hadn't told her husband.
Was taken out of the courtroom in cuffs to begin serving her 5-year sentence.
But primarily my client's acceptance of responsibility in this case. We agreed to go forward with this plea agreement, and my client has agreed to go to jail today.
Diane Jensen was jailed on reduced charges of conspiracy to commit a sex abuse. Court documents say the husband and wife duo invited their 12-year-old niece to the home to model prom dresses. The victim claims that escalated to rape.
The testimony was you still protected your own children to the extent you were able to. Well, I think a niece is about as close as you get to your own children.
Jensen's defense team claimed she was a victim of the abuse of Mr. Jensen herself.
The reality is that the statements that were made in the beginning were that this was done because you were afraid he would leave you. Not that he would beat you, not that you were in physical danger.
Present telephonically was the victim, who over 10 years later says she believed her aunt would keep her safe.
I truly believe, as his wife, you could have changed a lot of events. You could have stopped some, and you could have helped me. But you didn't.
Diane Jensen will have to register as a sex offender for life, and once her 5 years jail time is up, will be placed on probation for 10 years. Her husband, Daniel Jensen, will be tried in court on 13 felony sex abuse charges next month. I'm Stephanie Woodard reporting. Vietnam-era soldiers who received other than honorable discharges because they suffered from post-traumatic stress may be able to get discharge upgrades. The directive came from the Secretary of Defense and acknowledged that thousands of soldiers may have been kicked out of the service because of behavioral problems related to PTSD. Upgraded discharges could lead to the award of previously denied benefits, such as disability pay, separation pay, and GI Bill eligibility. PTSD was not recognized as a potential behavioral altering medical condition until 1980, which means that disability claims or discharges upgrades based on claims of the condition were routinely denied by government agencies.
PTSD wasn't necessarily evaluated as thoroughly as it is now, and a lot of people were diagnosed with PTSD after departing the service, and that may have been a factor in their misconduct before they were separated.
And we'll have more about this new ruling and how vets can apply next week on the Military Report.
Many residents are fuming over a recent debris pile that was burned this past weekend off Chena Point Drive, filling the air with smoke. Amy Chazé has the story.
6 complaints were received by the Department of Conservation about a plastic burn smell and smoke filling the valley located off Chena Pump Road. The fire is from debris that consists of rubble left from the Klondike Motel that was hauled to a pit owned by Alaska Gravel and Foundation. Chena Goldstream Fire and Rescue responded to the fire 7 times since New Year's Eve. The Department of Environmental Crimes Unit and an air permit inspector also responded. Air Permit Compliance Manager Jim Baumgartner says there is an ongoing investigation about the open burn and that there was a fair amount of smoke. Written approval is necessary for open burning.
The current air quality control regulations regarding open burning, if you're going to make black smoke, you need to have a written approval from the department. We don't have that for this site.
Baumgartner did say on first review of the pictures he received in the complaints that he did not see any black smoke. That doesn't mean the smoke wasn't bothersome, according to area resident Mike Kraft.
When I woke up Sunday morning and saw the entire valley shrouded in what looked to be a trash pile smoke, and it smelled like tar paper, I got pretty concerned because it wasn't quite up to my house, but it was inundating all of my neighbors, and as far as I could tell, it was about 300 homes.
Alaska DEC Solid Waste Program Manager Doug Butine says the material being burned is the material for which the motel owners, Arctic Industrial Resources, were issued a noncompliance violation last year. The material was dumped in a pit owned by Alaska Gravel. Manager Richard Blule says he was unaware of the noncompliance violation and was assured the burn was okayed.
All right, when we come back, we'll go live to the Carlson Center for an interview with a member of Cirque du Soleil.
Also, Fairbanks students will have an opportunity to learn a trade for a future career. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Oh, this is going to be a fun Friday. It's the second night for Cirque du Soleil's Jallion.
That's right. Reporter Katie Looper is down at the Carlson Center. Now let's check in with her. Katie.
Hey guys, the first show just got over. We could hear the crowds cheering from inside. The next one's at 7:30, but we got the chance to speak with the artistic director, Sean. So Sean, how is it being in the show business? Tell me how you got started.
Well, I was an actor originally, so I came from theater. I also did some tap dancing, some music, and lost my life into management for a while, and then made my road back to entertainment. So it's been quite a ride.
Wow, so can you tell me how the show has developed over the years and what you've seen from the show?
Yeah, you know, the show was first created in 1999. I took the helm in 2010. It's an incredible show, a lot of wow acrobatics, some incredible performers. We have 19 different nationalities on stage, so we really do scour the entire world to find the best quality people we can find for the show.
Absolutely. So I know the show is retiring in Anchorage, right? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know, this is our first time in Alaska. So we have this week in Fairbanks and next week in Anchorage. And it's the first time for Cirque du Soleil ever to come to Alaska. So it's pretty exciting to open the market. And then, yeah, we're all excited for the grand finale a week or so from now.
Yeah, so what's going to happen next? Where's everybody going?
A lot of people go home and take a little break. We've been touring for 16 weeks non-stop this time, or 4.5 years in total with this particular group of people. So everyone's ready for next.
Wow, so what's going to happen next for you? Do you got any big plans coming up?
Moving to Buenos Aires, actually, and I'm going to create some new shows and work on some new projects.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. It's been great, Sean. Thank you so much. And that'll be it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Wow, thanks, Katie. That's exciting.
Yeah, I got to see it. I got to see it.
Yeah, we got to go behind the scenes, and it was pretty cool. It's crazy what goes into this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, in other news, starting on Monday. Starting on Monday, the Fairbanks Pipeline Training Center will be teaching high school students about electrical and plumbing trades. Students from Hutchinson and North Pole High Schools have already applied for classes. Educator John Plutt says the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District is sending students interested in trade careers to the center at no cost to them. The relationship between the facility and the school district has been ramping up since high school age students were allowed to sit inside classes 3 years ago. Any junior or senior student from anywhere in the school district can apply for the program. Plutt says the students will be learning their selected trade hands-on.
What you see behind me are these modules that here at the end of the school year, after 72 hours, the students that are involved with this will have plumbed these and have wired these up to where they're actually a functional unit.
The Alaska Dog Mushers Association is looking to revitalize the oldest continuously run sled dog race in the world. Now, the Open North American Sled Dog Championship celebrates its 70th anniversary with 3 days of sprint racing in late March. The association is under new leadership, which has a lofty goal of mirroring the race's anniversary with a $70,000 purse. Fundraising chair Casey Thompson says they are nearly halfway there, having raised $30,000 so far. That's up $15,000 from last year. Thompson says the idea is to attract a larger field of competitors than in recent years. Organizers add that they are also working to spark community interest by bringing the event back to its roots.
We knew it had been a big carnival atmosphere the whole week going into the North American, and we wanted to bring that back because we see dog mushing kind of slowly dying.
And so some of the things we're doing, we're trying to close off a little bit more of the street system downtown and bring in a snow park for more of a family attraction for kids and things like that.
So, as usual, Joe Cook is really busy.
Yeah,
he's up next with your Friday Sportscast, including how the Alaska women's basketball team made history again last night.
Oh, wow. Find out what they did and more after the break
Always
with Joe.
keeping us guessing.
Hello, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here to get your weekend started right with some Friday sports. The big one is Saturday night. That's right, UAF versus UAA, not the Governor's Cup though. They meet on the hardwood this time. Alaska will tip off against their arch enemies at 7 p.m. in the Patty Center. Both teams are on winning streaks. The Seawolves come in with a 3-1 conference record, and they are 7-7 overall. They've won their last 4 games. The Nanooks are 5-7, 2-2 in the GNAC, and they have won 3 in a row. UAF's Ashton Edwards, along with UAA's Brian McGill, are the reigning GNAC Players of the Week. Ruben Silva scored a career-high 34 points and 11 rebounds in Alaska's big win over Simon Fraser last Saturday. Head coach Mick Durham likes what he is seeing from his team as of late, but Saturday's game will be a test of keeping composure.
You know, you're always worried about in your rivalry game of you know, kind of getting settled in and not getting too hyped up. And I mean, we just got to get locked in early and then just try to play our game. And we've been doing a good job of, you know, coming into halftime in a good situation and then finding ways to win at the end. And I think that's kind of what we need to look at, is we got to just make sure we stay focused and get through the first half and get ourselves in a position to do good things the second half.
And the Alaska women's basketball team continues to win games. They won in overtime 85-77 over the St. Martin Saints last night. The Saints nailed a 3 at the buzzer to force overtime, but UAF went on a 10-2 run to start OT, and they pulled away with the victory. Jordan Wilson had a game-high 24 points and 7 rebounds. UAF's current 5-game win streak is the longest in the GNAC era. They are 11-4 overall, 3-2 in conference, which is 4th place, a playoff position. They face Western Oregon on Saturday to try to make it 6 straight. Now high school basketball action. Here's a recap from day 1 of the Mount McKinley Bank Holiday Classic. Let's go out to Boileau Hall.
The Monroe Rams took on the Ketchikan Kings in their Mount McKinley Bank opener on Thursday night. K-High was down 11-4, but Ned Day, he sparked an 8-0 run. He had 9 points for the Kings, and K-High led 12-11 after 1. Then Monroe's Mike Cluting, he got hot, hitting 3 trays in the first half, and the Rams were up 23-20 at the break. They would not trail from that point on. K-High would cut it to 4 a couple of times in the fourth, but Jalen McCullough, Cluting, and the Rams execute down the stretch and win 50-36. Cluting had a game-high 20 points for Monroe.
I was going with the flow, and my teammates got me open. Everything, I got wide open shots a lot of time, and just because of them swinging it around, they got me wide open.
We're going to have to play like it's a state championship game. We're going to have to play good 3 games in a row. And when these 4A teams come in, we gotta let them know that we ain't backing down to anybody.
In the girls' matchup, Monroe's Andy Clark hit this deep 3 at the buzzer to ignite Boileau Hall, but the Rams trailed 14-23 after that shot going into the second quarter. Courtney Kimball scored a game-high 20 points for the Kings, who locked down the Rams, allowing just 4 second-half points as Ketchikan wins big 54-24. In the early games of the tournament, both Colony teams were victorious. The girls' team won 34-28 over Soldotna, and the Colony boys were down 12-3 to Sohai after 1, but rallied in a 53-44 win.
Now more scores from around the state from last night's tournament basketball games as well. In Palmer, the West Valley girls, they defeat Juneau 59-26. Ruthie Hebert, she outscores Juneau all by her lonesome with a 30-point game. In the Elks tournament, the West Valley boys won 55-30 over Kodiak in their Joe Floyd tourney opener. And also at the Elks, the North Pole boys and girls both lost to Palmer. The boys fell 53-45 and the girls lost 63-4. Yes, that's 63-4. Back in the interior, on the road, the Allison girls beat Delta Junction 48-27 behind Desiree Moody's game-high 15 points. The boys' team, though, they lost to the Huskies 64-55. The West Valley Wolfpack hockey team is running a high-octane offense right now after dispatching crosstown rival Lathrop 8-1 on Wednesday. The Pack hosted the West Anchorage Eagles Thursday night at the Dipper. Both teams traded goals in the first period, won by Zach Savoride and Mike Curine of West, but West Valley went on a 7-0 run, and they win 8-1. Taylor Gale was the top skater for the Wolfpack in this one, handing out 3 assists and adding a goal. Savoride, Ty Profit, Yanni Samaranolis, Stashi Skorolski, Evan Rankin, and Logan Arpino all had at least 2 points for the Pack. Braden DeWeese made 27 saves for West Valley as the Wolfpack improved to 5-5 on the year. They will play Diamond on Saturday. We end tonight's Sportscast with the first play of the week voted by you for 2015. This week's play of the week comes from the Alaska Nanook hockey team. Davis Jones had a career night last Saturday, making 26 saves against the Fair State Bulldogs in a 6-0 victory. Jones, a sophomore, registered his 4th shutout of the year. He's allowed just 2 goals in his last 4 games. To pick the next play of the week, watch for the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays on Mondays during the weekend recap. Well, I'm running out of time, so check the sports page on webcenter11.com for this weekend's sports schedule. All you need to know is right there. But that's all for sports at 6. Come back tonight for the Sports Nightcap with highlights and results from tonight's sports action. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you on a Friday evening talking about weather, and we're talking about a good weekend coming up. Temperatures near 20 degrees both Saturday and Sunday with no snow in the forecast and just good outdoor activities to happen. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Our photograph tonight, this one's sent in by Matt Moberly, Winter near the Chena. And look at the rays coming through there. It's a beautiful shot. And again, as always, if you have a photograph to share, please send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Thanks a lot, Matt, for that great photo. Here's your numbers right now. 21 degrees, that's our high for the day. The low last night, 9. Record high in 2002, up to 40 degrees that day. Down to 56 below in 1952. Sunrise not quite about 10:40 this morning. Sunset 3:20 this afternoon, giving us 4 hours and 41 minutes of daylight. That's a gain of 5 minutes from yesterday. Here's what's going on in our satellite and radar. You can once again see the flow is coming out of the southeast. That's where we're getting the warm temperatures. There are a few showers around, but for the most part, they're staying away from the Fairbanks area. A lot of activity across the Prince William Sound area. On our next map, you can see a little rain falling around Ketchikan with 41 degrees there. Some showers in Juneau, 32. Anchorage checking in with 31 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Showers around Kodiak. Up and down the west coast, not too bad. 31 degrees for the high at Nome and 9 degrees at Barrow. So for this time of year, that's incredible for Barrow. And all the way up to 1 degree for Fort Yukon. A few days ago, they were near 40 below. Here's what's going on across the lower 48. Rain moving back in the picture over the Pacific Northwest. Nice weather up and down the west coast. A little chilly around Denver. Some showers around Dallas. Things have cleared out in the Minneapolis area. And over the southeast, a little Florida showers, I should say, activity going on there. And on the map, just lots of cold temperatures. That's all reflected by the white on this satellite picture, infrared. And you can see a little bit of snow, shower activity. In fact, these are what they call lake effect snows going on. And it's going to bring up to 4 feet of snow in Watertown, New York. And near Buffalo, also, once again, some very heavy snowfall. You can see the gauge showing here almost more than 1.5 feet of snow expected there. And the jet stream for next week is taking a dip once again, way across down to the south, helping to bring more cold air and reinforcement there across much of the lower 48, rain up and down the eastern seaboard. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections. Mostly cloudy skies for Barrow and a few snow showers for Nome area, with also some snow showers possible at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, scattered flurries at Fairbanks and Haley, mainly cloudy skies at Delta Junction. Southeast Alaska, we'll be looking at a slight chance of rain for Juneau, and rain is likely for the Ketchikan area. And over to the southwest part of the state, rain and snow for Cold Bay, cloudy skies at Bethel, and rain showers at Kodiak Island. And if you're heading on down to the Anchorage Bowl, we're looking at cloudy skies in Anchorage, foggy at Homer, and rain and snow in Valdez. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather, and wrapping up this week with our kids from Pearl Creek Elementary School. But tonight, let's hear from the teacher with an interesting weather fact.
Hello, I'm John Sassman, and this is my 4th grade class. And we have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know that Valdez, Alaska receives more snow than any other city in the United States? Wow! They average 27 feet a year, while here in Fairbanks, we usually get close to 6 feet in a winter.
Not quite that much this year. It's been kind of a lean snow year for Valdez. Thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Next week, we'll be joined by the kids from Salcha Elementary School. And it is a Friday night, which means our winter trails report. And as you can see here, it should be a great weekend with all the resorts now open. All the slopes will be groomed, and temperatures will be in the mid to upper teens. And snow machiners, be wary of possible avalanche dangers. Again, thanks to Northern Power Sports and Beaver Sports for sponsoring our winter trails report. Forecast for tonight, 13 degrees, the overnight low, mild compared to what we've been going through. A few snow flurries are possible. Tomorrow, once again, a few snow flurries possible, 23 degrees for the high. And the extended forecast, looking at a very nice day on Sunday, 24 degrees, and then cooling down a little bit, but still way above for this time of year. And the same will be said for the overnight lows, again, way above normal for this time of year. All in all, a great weekend setting up for all your outdoor activities.
Sounds like a great weekend
Yeah,
shaping up.
definitely.
Perfect
Yeah.
temperatures.
I'll be hitting the slopes.
Very cool. Very
I
cool.
bet you will.
All right. We want to see videos, of course. All right. We have run out of time, so that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We hope you joined us at 11. From all of us here, have a great night.
Good night.